Yasmin, your co-host, and I'm a huge movie fan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Ruiz, who is a dentist, director, author, and the founder of both the Mexican-American Culture Education Foundation, as well as Dr. Ruiz Productions. Dr. Ruiz, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing really good. Hello, my friends. And I'm super excited today because I have a very good friend and an amazing filmmaker today to talk about one of my favorite projects of many projects that I'm surrounded by. One of my favorite projects, which is called Baca the Kid. And I think you, my audience friends, you will when you hear about it, I think you will fall in love with it just as much as I have already for a number of years. And I'm talking about Antonio Marquez, director, producer, writer, and brilliant filmmaker. And we also have with us Ama, who is a star of the movie. It's a short film that we will get a chance to see a preview. And of course, we have Gemini with us as well, a great actor, handsome young man. So it will be a nice opportunity to chat with all this group. And but before we continue and before we get a little more in depth with the subject and with our guest, we would like to start getting you a little bit excited about this by running the trailer of Baca the Kid. So our audiovisual technician Michaela is going to play it right now.
Don't worry, they're still sleeping. They were all too scared to come and see if you were dead last night.
Am I?
Not yet.
God be with you.
Well, it just gets us very excited to see that little bit of the story. Well, my friends, let me introduce you to Antonio Marquez, who is the writer, director, and producer of Baca the Kid. Antonio, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, thanks for having us on and getting a chance to talk about this movie, having a little Baca the Kid reunion too.
That's right. That's right. That kind of a reunion because you and I have talked about this project many times before. Now, where are you? You seem to be right in the perfect location for this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I'm here in New Mexico. Where the Baca the Kid, where the film takes place, where El Fego Baca, who is a historical character and folk hero of New Mexico, lived. I mean, he was south of here, so I could drive to the place where this incident took place.
When all of this took place. Well, I think what a lot of people may not know, especially younger people, is the Eufigio Baca is actually a historical figure that should be even better known than most famous cowboys of the past, because he happens to have the record of the most bullets fired at him, and still alive in the Old West. Am I right? I mean, it was
that's right. It's
tell us a
the
little bit
longest.
about it, Antonio. Give us a quick story of Baca, because you're the one that knows the most about this subject. So tell us a little bit about this real world, real life figure that we should all know.
Yeah. Well, El Fego Baca was lived in the 1800s. Most prominently, this takes place in 1884, and he lived until I think he died in 1945. And so he lived a good long life, and he's buried in Albuquerque. You can go visit his cemetery or his gravesite there, which I've done a couple times. Pay some respects, and he was just one of the signature characters in New Mexico and in Western history, but he's not talked about enough, I don't think. he did some amazing things. I mean, he claims to have hung out with Billy the Kid. He was involved with the Mexican Revolution, and tracked down a lot of outlaws. The most famous thing he did was this event that we show in the movie in Baca the Kid. Was he kind of when he was really young, he proclaimed himself sheriff to stand up to this mob that was terrorizing a town in New Mexico. You know, they were this kind of group from Texas. These Anglo cowboys were coming in, shooting up the place. They, you know, in the movie we go over it, but they attacked several people. There's stories about them, you know, taking women away from the town. They would just come in and shoot randomly. So they're just kind of terrorizing this whole town. El Fago's own brother was lynched by a similar mob when he was young, when he was like 15. You know, and most likely he went with his uncle to take down the body and bury him. So he experienced this kind of violence and prejudice firsthand. And he's a really interesting character in terms of Mexican American history and identity, because he was like, you know, he was born, I think, in the same house that his dad was. But when his dad was born in it, it was Mexico, you know, and then when he was born, it was a United States territory. So he grew up with this really interesting identity. You know, that's why he was good friends with Billy the Kid, and you know, he got a schooling in Kansas, so he spoke with a twang. He was not fluent in Spanish. He was kind of spoke bad Spanish. So when he came back to New Mexico with his father to live here, you know, he had a very unique perspective on seeing the American way of life from Kansas, but also being really proud of these New Mexican Nuevo Mexicano roots. Um, and so he kind of could be an interlocutor between cultures, basically. But he saw a real need to stand up for his people. And yeah, he took on just insane odds and stood up to these guys. There were over 50 of them. They trapped him in this mud hut, but he never gave up. I think because he saw his brother lynched, he knew, like, if I give myself over to these guys, this can only end badly. So
Yep.
he survived for a long time in this gunfight, and you know, they survived by laying low because they dig these what are called jacals. They dig the floor out, and so it kind of used his cultural knowledge against them. They didn't know that, so they just kept shooting, but he kept just hiding, and
Yeah,
we try
yeah.
to
Well, I mean,
portray that in the movie. Yeah.
this is a period of time in history where, you know, the Mexican community was terrorized by the Anglo community, and a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of people don't realize that the cowboy is really a Mexican cultural thing, and you know, this young man, you know, really was a hero, and very people know about it. So I cannot wait for all our friends to see this short film, and I cannot even wait to see the full feature, which I know you're working on. But of course, I
Mhm.
know that you're working on many other things, Antonio. I know that you're very talented. You you won many awards, including multiple awards given by the Mexican-American Cultural Education Foundation. So, but let me for a second chat with Ama, and I would like actually to have my co-host, maybe have an opportunity to talk a little with Ama and get to know this young actress who is doing a lot of really good things.
Okay. So how did you get into your role? Like, how did you actually get into learning about Baca the Kid and teaming up with Antonio?
Well, first of all, you go through the script several times, and then spend a lot of time picking Antonio's brain, because, as you said, Jose, he knows the most about his character. And then I just try to make it as close to me as possible. I try to be as true to the words as I possibly can. This setting where we were shooting the film is such an immersive space to be in. I mean, beautiful piece of land. And this set that was built, with Antonio's own hands and decorated beautifully. So when I walk in there in full costume, it was very, very easy for me to get lost in the character. And I love playing make believe, and I always have. So it's never that hard for me to go there if I have to. But it's very helpful to have all the other things, good scripts, really great people to work with. That's always huge. You know, we're all collaborating. We're all on like a little bit of a high over what's happening, and you know, us being able to live a life where we're actually being creative. So super grateful for that. And then I got to share the screen with my son, Orion, who plays Molo. So that was,
Oh,
yeah, that was the first time that we've ever acted together. So it was easy because I played his mom, he played my son. It was, you know, pretty simple.
that's lovely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Now I
Orion
know
was
that you
fantastic.
also. Sorry, Antonio.
I was just saying, Orion was really fantastic. Yeah, we were looking, we were thinking, you know, well, who could we cast? And I don't know if I guess we maybe came up with the idea together, or I was like, wait, can Orion act? But I mean, he read, and we were like, yeah, he just kind of just got it, you know. So it was a lot. It was a lot of fun to have both you guys. And me and Alma have done a project before, so we've worked together before. So it was fun. It was fun. It's almost like, you know, building onto the filmmaking family, kind of with real family, you know.
That's
My
right.
cousin too,
That's
Daniel, helped me, and I had, you know, my grandma made the tortillas, and then so yeah, we always have a lot of family involved on our productions.
very, very cool. Now tell me something, Antonio. Are you working on the feature right now, or is that in your plans?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I did the well, for those who don't know, I did a master class through MACEF last year, the master workshop with a bunch of other talented filmmakers. So I was going out to LA, coming back with notes for the feature, and then, you know, writing here, doing Zoom calls. And so, yeah, that was really inspiring. So I reworked, yeah, I reworked a script, because the history of the short was that I wrote it as a feature, and then I kind of narrowed it down to the short to see if I can tell it, you know, to the narrowest scope possible, and then um, rewrote it again to the MACEF workshop, and really, you know, kind of had a lot of guidance from some great mentors there. Um,
Jesus
Tim
Trevino, who is an
Yeah,
amazing director and writer, right?
yes, yeah, exactly, and that really helped guide, and, you know, was recommended movies to look at, and anyway, just was very very helpful to get the script to where I'm really proud of that. So I do have a feature script of this, and maybe I'll rework it again. Yeah, I'm still
so
trying to get it
your
made. Westerns
screenplay
are
is
just
is finished.
it's finished. Yeah, it's a finish. I'm really proud of where it is. Um, Westerns are just tricky, and it's a pretty big cast. You know, it's a kind of a one location situation, and in fact, I've already talked to a movie ranch here called Eves, and kind of pitched the owner of the ranch, you know, building a little Adobe edition, a little, you know, New Mexican kind of side of
Mm.
it, and he was very open to it. And so, you know, I'm just trying to keep in touch and keep that relationship going. So I know where I would
Yeah,
shoot it. And yeah,
very
it's always a
smart.
matter of what goes first, you know.
What is your budget?
I mean, as it stands, I think I could do it for probably like 5 million. I could do it or more, you know, but I think like I couldn't do it for less probably.
Yeah, that's not bad for a western, a feature western. That's a
No, no, no,
pretty good
not bad
budget.
at all. Hmm.
Um, wow, I'm so excited about it. Well, you know, I want to talk to Gemini. I want to see where Gemini is an actor who is you know, starting his career. But I'm very interested in seeing how is he part of this team, and you know, what's in store.
Well, I was approached by Antonio's cousin Daniel Marquez actually, and I actually hadn't heard of El Fuego Baca prior to that, but then just researching him and how he was the first Attorney General of New Mexico, and just like like the lynching from like I don't know if they were Texan Rangers, but they were like, it was basically like Antonio said, like Anglo-Texans, like in the late 1800s, like basically harassing the local Hispanic population. And I remember like reading, like I think it was in my Chicano studies class, like when I went to UNM for my journalism degree, like way back in the early 2000s. I think I read somewhere that there was like there were more Mexican Americans lynched in Texas than African Americans, like in the early 20th century, in the early 1900s. I don't know if that's exactly true, but I know the number was pretty high. Um, so I mean, I was definitely interested because I've always been interested in film. I studied directing at UCLA for a short time. Um, my background's in journalism. I'm also a nurse, though I work as an emergency room nurse. I'm getting my
Oh,
doctorate now as a nurse practitioner. So I'm involved in healthcare now. But I mean I love acting and I love directing too. I've made a few short films of my own when I was younger, but I have kids and a mortgage and just life kind of catches up with you. So sometimes you just gotta, you
that's
know,
right. It's true. It's true.
you gotta,
I'm a dentist as much as I'm a director and producer and writer.
right?
So
Yeah,
filmmakers are
yeah,
it's a tough business, right?
yes, exactly. I mean, it's a lot of it is just about not how talented you are or what you know, but it's about who you know and I mean, there's a lot of exceptionally talented people out there that probably never had the opportunity to get their foot through the door.
I agree with you, Gemini. I agree with you 100%. Very, very good point. So tell us, are you part of the Baca the Kid cast now?
Not to my knowledge, but
Not yet.
I was for the short film, and I mean, it's fun. I mean, I like doing it for free, and I just, I mean, I love like just, like kind of just channeling like my own raza roots, and because I'm a norteño from New Mexico, and my family's
Oh,
from up north, northern New Mexico. We're all ranchers, vaqueros. Um, so like it felt like a natural fit for me. It wasn't really like much of a stretch for me to play that character, honestly.
of course, of course. And what you say is absolutely true. I mean, in North, some time ago, I was approached by a friend of mine, and she was telling me, I saw the other day this Mexican guy that was wearing boots and a hat and a bolo tie, and she was telling me it was really funny because I realized that this guy wants to really belong to America because he's dressing like a cowboy and and it kind of made me laugh because I realized that most people are not aware that all of that outfit is actually originates in Mexico,
Yeah.
and people that come from northern Mexico, they dress like cowboys every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the word rodeo I think it's a Spanish term, right? Rodeo.
Absolutely, rodeo,
Rodeo,
rodeo de
corral.
las vacas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so this is a subject that I'm very, very, very passionate about. I love it. So what tell us what movies have you done, Gemini? What subjects have you done in the past? Love to see that.
Well, I just say UCLA. I was just making just like short little films, basically, just messing around. But
Do you
nothing.
have them out anywhere?
I think they're on Vimeo still. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
I've got to try to find some of those old hard drives, but yeah, I mean it was fun. I mean, I love doing it. I mean, it's just like using that auteur lens of the director and just framing shots and just thinking about also directing actors, like what kind of dynamic range you want to evoke from them, and if you want to just let them do their thing, or if you kind of want to like tell them, well, like, can you like try to play it this way or that way. Yeah,
Direct them.
it's tons of fun. I mean, just wish I could get paid for it. So
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Well, tell me, and Antonio, tell us a little bit about what you're working on these days. what projects? I know that you recently won an award on one of your most recent projects, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, like we just actually, I mean, I just got news today that got Rocky Mountain Emmy nomination for a documentary I was a producer on called Voces de la Latinidad, which is kind of an oral history documentary. We interviewed a lot of people for the National Hispanic Cultural Center here in Albuquerque, and
Nice.
kind of yeah, and it was just about identity, about how people grew up here, mostly in New Mexico, but we had people from Mexico who moved to Albuquerque, or people from like northern New Mexico, Española, but kind of centered around Albuquerque and historic spots in New Mexico. So it was really fun to hear just people's stories about how they grew up, and their traditions, views on family and religion, prejudice, you know, just a lot of like elders, telling us and getting their stories down, which was a lot of fun. So that was great, and that was a project I did last year, and right now I'm working on several different things at different stages. Um, so I have a fellowship with Stowe Story Labs, called New Voices New Mexico. So I'm workshopping a feature with them, and that's going to be about 6 months. And I'm working on it's a werewolf story called The Sixth Silver Bullet. So that's
Oh
been a lot of
wow, a
fun.
werewolf story.
Yeah, werewolf story, and set in like New Mexico mountain town, kind of hippie hunting town, and a guy trying to save his family from a werewolf that is his best friend. And
Did,
so
did you write that one?
Yeah, I wrote that one, and I'm rewriting it, but very proud of that script and working on it. And then I am going to be shooting another short film next spring, that I'm in. I really like a long pre-production, so I have that cast, or I have at least two of the major parts cast and the location. I got a grant from the Santa Fe Film Institute, and they'll do this thing called Los Luceros grant. It's kind of north of Española in New Mexico, and it's another historic piece. So
Nice.
I'll get to be exploring the Taos, or something called the Taos Revolt that happened. It was a specific kind of conflict that happened in northern New Mexico during the Mexican-American War, where these northern New Mexicans teamed up with the native Pueblos, the Taos Pueblo, and together they kind of joined up to fight the American army. And so it's about these two guys trying to just survive, basically, and they're trying to get away, and they see a chance to escape, or they see a chance to save this little boy who's getting threatened by this kind of brutal, like, frontiersman, and they kind of have to make a choice of whether they choose themselves or choose, to save this kid. So I'm very excited to prep that and to shoot again. It's been actually a while since I've shot like a narrative film of my own. Since Baca the Kid was the last one. Since then
Wow.
I've done a music video and then that documentary.
Wow, good job. It
And
seems like
writing
you're
a lot, but so I'm
attracted to it seems like
Yeah,
you're
history.
attracted to historical pieces, right?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, and the werewolf one was kind of to get away from that, just to shake it up and just go total imagination and to entertain myself, which was I love it. But the grant that I'm receiving to film this one was specifically to shoot at a historic location. So
Right.
it was an opportunity that I decided to try to get, because I've always wanted to talk about the Taos Revolt, which it's the same kind of thematics, but it's almost, well, it's 40 years before Baca the Kid takes place.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it is kind of it could be kind of a prequel in a way to Baca the Kid.
So why don't we engineer our visual engineer Michaela? Why don't we take a look at the second cut of Baca the Kid? A little fun scene there.
You gotta get your things and get out of here.
I heard that you were in a gunfight. I heard that you arrested one of them.
You got arrested?
Well, why did you come here? I think
Hold on, get in here. Here, hold this. I came because for some reason you didn't get word gathering the troops with all the other level mates. Everybody else is like Hunters came in and we didn't hear that gunshot more than 10 minutes ago.
And to think, I thought that you came here to help us, but you're going to end up just like your brother. Vamos. Wait, Rulo.
Maybe it'll be all right. Maybe he just wants his gun back.
Oh, yeah, you're going to give it to him.
Bullets.
You shot a couple of those Tejanos last night, eh, Fuego?
Well, one and a horse.
Mama said, gracias a Dios, someone had the gloves to send to those bastardos.
Molo.
You're brave, Alfredo, but you're very stupid. And the gringos don't know that we build our jacals with sunken floors. Stay low, and I'll lock the door behind you. God be with you. Get up. And don't you make it.
Don't worry, boys. I'll get that greaser out of there. Come on. Come on, Baca. Be a good little greaser. Come on out here. We'll just talk. We ain't gonna hurt you. Come on, Baca. I said, come on, you dirty little greaser. Get your...
How many bullets did the the enemies of Baca, the kid, shot at him?
He claims that there was like 4,000 shots, and who knows if they may not even have that many bullets in the area.
It might have been a little exaggeration, but that's a lot of shots.
Print the legend, but they did bring in the door, which had like 300 bullets in it. When they had this trial for him after this, he was arrested eventually, but a different sheriff came in and kind of another English sheriff came in and kind of act as to put the truce on everything. But he still took him to jail and they had a trial. But they presented the door that you see get shot up as evidence of how many times they were shooting at him.
Oh wow!
So he was just trying to defend himself, basically. Yeah.
Does that door still exist?
Not that I'm aware of. No. But the saint that you see, Alma's character briefly, get a blessing to, that apparently I have seen there is a real photo of that saint that exists, and apparently it's just in someone's house down in southern New Mexico. They they kind of enshrined her because no bullets hit her, right? But so she was
interesting how Billy the Kid, there's so many stories, so many documentaries. I saw one not too long ago, and I found it very interesting. And it was very interesting also to see that Billy the Kid, he spoke fluent Spanish. He had been in tremendous. He was in love with a Mexican woman, and that's when you see that, you realize how much Mexican people live in the Western. But when you see Westerns, Western movies, John Wayne and all the other ones, you never see Mexicans. It's like they erase them of the Westerns. Even today, I find a little bit offensive when I see shows like the one that's on Paramount, 1883, and many of the shows. You don't see Mexicans. You don't see, which is completely unreal, completely false in regards to that. But this story is something that I hope you will continue to work very hard and to put it to make it a big deal, because it is such a great story, So and apparently this, not apparently. I mean, you told me that he was actually a lawman. He was a sheriff, a real sheriff that did so many good things for the community. And again, it wasn't is forgotten by history. So, um,
yeah, and yeah, and then the community helped him too in turn. I mean, he really was saved because of this woman who hid him and her son who hid him in like the scene. And that is historically that's what happened. He said there was a little kid. The kid was actually on the roof shucking corn.
really,
But yeah, and his name was Molo. Yeah, and the woman basically, I guess, and it's kind of history kind of lost their name. I think they were part of Martinez family, but so I think it's Paloma in the movie, right? Ama?
Lupe?
Lupe. Okay, yeah. So I've changed the name a couple times. So Lupe is in the short, it's Lupe, and the son is always Molo though, because when Alfredo
that
tells the
hasn't
story,
changed.
yeah, and but yeah, they really hit, and she did tell him just stay here. You have a better chance than trying to do the gunfight in the streets. She knew that he could hide under the floor. So she really saved him and locked him in there.
Mm.
But Alma was just great. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that that scene of how it was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Ama, tell us a little bit about your character. What do you know about Marie? What is Lupe?
Lupe, yes. Lupe, it's unconfirmed what kind of relationship she had with El Fuego, but I mean, I think she definitely cared about him enough to save him, enough to, she knew that her house was going to be destroyed because of this, and he felt, safe enough to go to her, which also
Exactly.
believe that, there's definitely something there. But it was fun. It was fast. It was, we had to just kind of move fast. There was a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. We had the dog. We had Antonio's amazing dog with us. And yeah, it was a great day, great shoots. It was fast. I think I shot for one day. And like I said, the set was just so alive.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Such a beautiful set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So Antonio, did you build the set specifically for this movie?
Yeah, we built it out of an old corral frame, but we built. My friend Zach helped pretty much build the structure. We drew a little sketch and looked at a picture of Jacals and one of the ones that maybe he was in, the real Alfredo Baca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we wooden constructed it, and then I had my friend Joanna Lopez come out. She's like an artist, and Dora, which is a mud plaster. She does Adobe arts, and then another friend Katiri Lopez, who does a lot of work here in New Mexico with Adobe. But they helped really so we did it legit. We did a traditional mud plastering. I had another couple friends from high school that I roped in. My friend Alexis and Dominic, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey
movie
guys, you want to
making
hang
is a
out?"
group
Yeah,
story.
yeah. I was like, "I'll feed you," but we plastered this whole thing over a weekend. It was a lot of fun. And the mud literally dried. It was drying still and dried completely for day one. Like it had literally, I was like, oh my God, is this going to be too wet? And it just barely dried before we started shooting.
Wow.
So yeah, we had to do everything very quick. But yeah, I knew Ama could jump in for that scene because we have done, I didn't mention, we did another acting project together where we were acting for an audio project that we did for Amazon Audible, where we played two friends, and we spent a lot of time just doing dialogue scenes together. So I think we know each other's pacing really well and how to bounce off each other, and that's kind of what I needed for that scene is just us to you feel the relationship, but you don't have to over explain it. You just kind of get that they're in turmoil and chaos, and there's a mutual trust, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I
also
see
frustration, right?
Yeah, I can see that you guys have worked together in multiple projects. Are you working in any upcoming project together?
Not yet, but hopefully soon. I think the last thing we did was recorded some audition tapes together. Neither of us got a part, but it was fun. It was still fun.
That was fun day. Yeah.
Ama, what are you working on right now?
I have a super secret project coming out in November that I can't talk about. And
super secret? You could not tell us?
It's yeah. And then
Yeah, no, don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble.
I know. And then I'm doing a play. I'm going back to the theater. It's been a few years, and it's a really juicy part. It'll also be at the Hispanic Cultural Center here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that'll be in October. It's called Chimichangas and Zoloft, written by a Latina playwright, directed by Miguel Martinez, who's an amazing actor, director. And he's trying to start a Latin-based theater company in town. He wants to do all Latina writers for the place. And so really excited to help out with that.
Nice, very nice. That sounds like a bunch of nice projects. Good job. How about you, Gemini? What are you working on right now? In addition of your, being a nurse, do you have any upcoming projects, acting projects, producing? Are you writing something? What's next for you?
No, I'm at UNM full time. I'm working I'm an ER nurse, but I'm also working on my doctorate right now in psychiatry.
Oh,
so I'm in school full time. So between that, my kid and work, I pretty much have my hands full for the moment. Like I don't even have time to clean my house right now.
I'll think of that. We'll bring him out of retirement for a project.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that Antonio wants to do that. Are you guys related in any way, Antonio and Gemini?
Possibly, but we don't.
Yeah, I mean, northern New Mexico, we probably are distant cousins. I mean, that wouldn't be too far from. That's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say I had the part pretty much cast with a different actor, and yeah, so my cousin Daniel helped produce this too with me. He's an executive producer, Daniel Watkins, and he and Gemini, you guys grew up together, right? And you just known each other forever. And he's like, "Hey, you should read with Gemini," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I will." I was like, "I think I cast it," but we read together. I was like, immediately, I was like, "Oh, we look more like we could be siblings than the other actor had in mind," and just kind of nailed the line deliveries. So I was like, oh, "Okay."
I just want to add, Gemini, your performance was incredible. Like you were you were a scene stealer. Like it was great. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
Thanks.
That's very nice to hear. Very, very nice to hear.
I think now would be a good time to play the second clip, right?
Let's play the second clip.
Don't worry. They're still sleeping. Something like that. They were all too scared to come and see if you were dead last night.
Am I?
Not yet. That Papa's old gun you got there?
Yeah. It's good old Colt.
Good old Colt. Just like you, huh? How many bullets you got left?
Yeah. As long as I keep one, right?
Why would you say that?
You don't wish you had one before those Texans lynched you.
I see your point. Pero that was a different situation, manito. You didn't have to come here.
No, they castrated a Mexican man here. He used another one just for target practice for fun. I don't know. Well, I guess I just couldn't stand to be a clerk any longer.
Yeah. Where'd you get that badge? You fell for that.
I tried to arrest one of them with it. I told the other chicken shit Mexican officer here. I'll show these American cowboys there's at least one Mexican that county you're not afraid of them.
Andale.
I thought that was a pretty good line.
Thought you always used to say you were an American.
I don't know what I am anymore.
Sure you do. Look around you. Esta es nos tierra. This is our land. Y esos cavachos afuera, those Texans outside, I'll bet if you ask them, they'd have some real strong opinions about who you are. And you're not selling shoes anymore. Got 13 bullets. Not one. Este valle, it's beautiful. Good place to raise some sheep, cattle, the family.
Yeah, well, I hope to ride away with me and never see it again.
That's more like it, manito. There's still embers in this stove. When was the last time you ate?
Well, it's amazing how that story that played at that moment, and how our Mexican and Mexican American people have always felt like foreigners in our own land, right? And that's playing today quite a bit, and it's it seems like this story keeps repeating over and over and never ending. So, but anyway, I don't want to get too political in this conversation.
I think the theme speaks for themselves. Yeah, with what in regards to what's currently going on. So yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, this is I love this story. I just love hearing about it, and I love talking about it, and I am so excited to see more of this story, and I can't wait for you, Antonio, to make the feature. And if there's anything that we can do to help, do not hesitate to ask. But in the meantime, we have the last part of our interview is a little more personal. Is our rapid fire questions. And basically the way it works is we're going to ask you questions quickly, and we want an answer relatively quickly. And if it gets a little personal, it's just all for fun. So let's start with my partner here.
Okay, I have a question for Alma. Who's an actor or actress you would want to work with?
That you do want to work with. That I do want to work with. So fast. I have to do this fast. There are too many. Oh my goodness. I guess someone like Kate Blanchett, like a female. And of course, say her. I'm not good on the spot, I have to say. There are just too many. There are just too many that I would love to work with. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. Okay.
So, Antonio, what's holding you back from making your feature?
Money.
$5 million.
Yeah, just funding. But I'm still not looking to let that stop me. I'm if I need to write something smaller, I'll write something smaller. I'm figuring it out, but we'll make Baca the Kid one day. Yes.
All right,
Gemini, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is probably Scarface, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorites.
You look too young for that.
No, I'll be turning 50 this year, so I actually watched Scarface with my daughter a few years back. She's 21 now. But yeah, it's just that Brian De Palma, like the soundtrack. Even though Pacino's Italian, obviously, right? So it's like, they didn't cast like a real Cubano in there, but still though, and his accent was off, but still it's just such a
such a good movie.
It's a classic freaking movie.
Sure. Amma, what type of story would you like to perform next? If you could perform anything.
I want to do horror, and I would love to do action. I want to do like an action film, something, like even like action and Western. I would love to ride a horse. but I think like horror as well. Those two are some genres that I haven't really explored that I would like to explore a little more.
Horror. Wow.
Antonio, who is your favorite director?
Oh, that is also really hard. I mean, the Coen brothers. I'll mention them just because they were probably the biggest influence on Baca the Kid. But I go through a lot. But yeah, Coen brothers were really big. Oh brother, where art thou? But I will also say I'm gonna add in Wes Anderson. Fantastic Mr. Fox was also really big for this movie. But the Coen brothers, I would say they never disappoint me.
Very cool. Well, Antonio, where can we see the short film Baca the Kid?
You can watch it on Vimeo. You can watch it on the production website that I share with my producing partner Jordan Hoffman, who produced this movie. He produced all my short films and edits all of them too. But we have our production company, Junkyard Nights, and just if you look up junkyardnights.com and go to the film library, you can find Baca the Kid as well as my previous shorts, Masabe el Diablo, and my first short, Livestock, which starred Ama, which is where we met on that film. So those three, two modern westerns and then Baca the Kid historical western, they can all be found there.
Very good. Well, friends, I encourage you to go see and look at the entire short film of Baca the Kid, and also look at some of the other things our talented director and friend Antonio has to offer. And if any of you has $5 million and want to see the story of Baca the Kid, don't hesitate to reach out to Antonio or to us. In the meantime, my co-host, I'm sure, has some final words.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining us on this episode of the Mexican-American Latino Lens live podcast, where we spotlight the brilliance, resilience, and creativity of Latino creators in film, TV, and beyond. And I just want to remind everyone not to forget to follow and subscribe to Dr. Ruiz Productions on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I just want to remind everyone that next week we'll be having a new episode on Wednesday at 4 p.m. same time.
Well, what a pleasure. I really enjoy chatting with Antonio. Antonio, good to see you, my friend. And Ama,
nice to meet you.
very nice meeting you. You're very talented. I want to see more of you in the big screen. And Gemini, don't lose the love for film and filmmaking. Finish what you have to do, but then come back. We look forward to seeing you, and don't hesitate to also apply for some of the grants. Remember, we still
accepting applications
Thank you.
until September 31st for the production grants and the master's workshop. So
thank you, my co-host, for completing my words. And my friends, good seeing you.